Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
And we are back. Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, January 2nd, 2026.
A brand new year. And if you're just tuning in, our job here is to help you connect the dots.
To connect those huge global tech movements with what they actually mean for your week.
And it is a very busy start to the year. Here in Sacramento, it's mostly cloudy, high of 59.
But nationally, things are a little more active. We're seeing that lake effect snow continuing east of the Great Lakes.
And a big storm system is hitting California and the Pacific Northwest. So if you're up in Northern California, expect rain, snow, and even some coastal flooding.
The markets are also, let's say, active. A bit volatile, but in a way that feels familiar.
It does. The Dow Jones closed up, but just barely. A fraction of a percent to land at 48,110.03.
And the S&P 500 slipped just a tiny bit, down about 0.12%.
But the real story, I think, continues to be Bitcoin. It's showing some real strength.
Oh, yeah.
Rallied almost a full percent to close at 89,526.64. And that sustained movement in digital assets. It really gives our final story today some extra weight.
It certainly does. But before we get to our three big tech topics, let's thank our first sponsor.
We are powered today by Old Glory.
If you know someone who's a huge music fan, or maybe a massive sports enthusiast, really anyone who just appreciates iconic merch, Old Glory is the place to check out.
Their stuff is really high quality, memorable. It's perfect for that techie friend who seems to have everything already.
And you can get 15% off your entire purchase. Just use the promo code SNARFUL at checkout.
That's oldglory.com.
All right, let's get into this Morningstar report. Our internal rundown of the three biggest tech shifts we think you need to know about right now.
And we're starting with, well, what you can only really call chaos at the top of Meta's AI division.
Yeah, philosophical chaos is a good way to put it.
This is a story that signals way more than just a personnel change. It's a deep structural, almost ideological riff over what the future of artificial general intelligence AGI should even look like.
And the news hook is the departure of Meta's chief AI scientist, the Turing Award winner, Yann LeCun. He's apparently leaving to launch his own startup.
The very same. I mean, this is the guy who founded Meta's fundamental AI research lab, FAIR, way back in 2013.
But our sources suggest he's just hit an absolute breaking point with the company's direction.
The core conflict is his philosophy. LeCun has said publicly that large language models, LLMs, the tech behind ChatGPT and Meta's own Llama models are useful but fundamentally limited.
So to him, they're just a really powerful statistical parlor trick. Not a real path to human-level intelligence.
Exactly.
So if LLMs aren't the answer, what is? What's his big decade-long vision?
He's aiming to develop something called world models.
Okay.
Think of it this way. LLMs are trained on text, on static data. But a child, or any truly intelligent being, learns from seeing, from moving through space, from sensory input.
So it's about learning from the environment, not just from a book.
Right. A world model, as he sees it, would build an internal, predictive simulation of its environment. It allows for planning, for reasoning, things LLMs really struggle with. He thinks it's the only true path to AGI, even if it takes 10 years.
Wow. That is a long-term, high-risk, high-reward bet. So what does it say about the pressure Mark Zuckerberg is under that he's letting a pioneer like that just walk out the door?
Honestly, it says he's panicking. Zuckerberg's counter move has been to just double down on superintelligence to try and catch up to OpenAI and Google.
And that desperation got even worse after the Llama 4 model was kind of underwhelming.
It really was. And that panic led to a huge power shift inside Meta. To speed things up, Zuckerberg bought a 49% stake in scaleAI.
For a staggering amount of money.
$14.3 billion. And with that, he brought in their 27-year-old founder, Alexander Wang, to lead this new superintelligence division.
And here's where the internal politics got really rough.
Right. Suddenly, Yann LeCun Turing Award winner, founder of FAIR, a legend in the field, is reporting to a 27-year-old.
A 27-year-old brought in with a massive check. The CTO of Hyperbolic, Yunshin Jin, even said LeCun's exit was basically inevitable. He said Zuckerberg just panicked after ChatGPT's success.
And LeCun never believed in that LLM path to begin with. It really highlights this massive tension in tech, doesn't it?
It really does. Do you fund the long, 10-year philosophical bet on a whole new paradigm?
Or do you chase the thing that's working right now, the thing the market has validated, even if you think it's fundamentally limited?
And this isn't some cheap debate. This whole upheaval is happening right after Meta shares plunged 12.6% in October.
Because Zuckerberg committed to spending over $100 billion on AI next year, LeCun's departure is just the clearest sign that even unlimited money can't buy you ideological alignment.
Or true innovation, it seems.
Yeah.
And that philosophical rift, it's not just happening inside Meta, it's playing out on a geopolitical stage, which brings us perfectly to our second story.
Right. The critical differences between how Silicon Valley and China are approaching this whole AI future.
And what's so fascinating is a cultural observation from analyst Dan Wang.
Oh, his letters are always a must-read.
He points out that when you look at the Bay Area tech elite and the Chinese Communist Party, they share this very peculiar trait.
Which is...
He says they are both serious, self-serious, and indeed completely humorless.
That is harsh, but you can see the truth in it. It's like they only have two modes.
Blandly corporate and risk-averse.
Or they swing into these wild, apocalyptic, world-ending discussions about AI. There's no middle ground, no cultural irony.
And that environment really shapes their strategy. The Bay Area is fiercely meritocratic, it values speed, which is great for software.
But Wang argues it also creates this narrowness of mind,
Yeah.
chasing one big idea at a time. Tech elites are so focused on funding the next big thing that traditional culture, the opera, the symphony is really suffering. The capital just goes into another VC fund.
This feeds directly into that AI anxiety we're always talking about.
Yeah.
Sam Altman's quote that AI will be either the best or the worst thing ever.
That binary, utopian, or apocalyptic thinking, it drives everything. And it's rooted in this idea from Nick Bostrom called decisive strategic advantage, or DSA.
Okay, what is that exactly?
Bostrom's idea is that if you create an AGI, a true superintelligence, it would be a technology so powerful it would be sufficient for complete world domination.
A technological singleton.
Exactly. And if you believe that, then the whole thing becomes a zero-sum, short-term sprint to the finish line.
So the U.S. strategy basically hinges on this idea that if an American lab gets there first, it locks in global dominance forever.
And that winner-take-all thinking explains the obsessive focus on software models and, critically, the U.S. semiconductor controls trying to stop China from getting the chips to compete.
But this is where China's strategy just completely diverges.
Totally. While the U.S. is making this, as you said, highly leveraged bet on deep learning software, China's focusing on the material world, on the bottlenecks, on long-term industrial resilience.
And the numbers are just staggering. Take power infrastructure.
Yeah.
China's electrical generation capacity is more than 2.5 times U.S. levels. If superintelligence needs a superload of power, they're the ones actually preparing for it.
They're strategically embedding AI directly into manufacturing, into robotics. They call it embodied AI. And that's where their real success comes from, not from, stealing software blueprints.
We saw this play out with the EV market, didn't we?
Oh, that comparison is just shocking.
Xiaomi, the electronics company, said they'd make an EV in 2021, and 4 years later, they're shipping cars.
4 years. Now contrast that with Apple, the world's most advanced consumer products company.
They spent 10 years and $10 billion just studying whether to do it before finally quitting.
The global leader in software couldn't match Xiaomi's industrial power.
And it's not just a one-off. Look at Tesla's own numbers. A worker in their China Gigafactory produces 47 vehicles a year.
And in California.
Only 20. This isn't about, some cultural nuance. This is about deep, effective manufacturing infrastructure.
So the core takeaway for you is this. The U.S. is trying to win the AI race, a sprint for the best software based on that DSA belief.
Well, China is trying to win the AI future. A whole of society effort where tech is built into the supply chain, the power grid, the factory floor. It's a much bigger game.
That difference in strategy is probably the defining geopolitical tension of the next decade.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift from that global competition down to your personal finances. Because if you hold digital assets, the age of anonymous crypto is, it's officially over.
That is absolutely correct. As of January 1st, new rules in the UK are forcing people who buy crypto to share detailed account and earnings info with tax officials.
Or face penalties. This is a massive coordinated push toward compliance.
It is. The UK's tax body, HMRC, is directly targeting what they call high levels of non-compliance. They want to collect capital gains tax, or CGT.
So they're forcing exchanges to automatically collect and report all their users' earnings.
Every single bit. And they expect a pretty big payday from this.
I saw the number. It's not small.
HMRC estimates this will bring in at least £300 million in unpaid tax over just the next 5 years.
Wow.
But the UK is just the leading edge here. This is part of a global tidal wave of standardization.
So what's the global mechanism that's driving all this?
It's driven by the OECD's Crypto Asset Reporting Framework, or CRF.
CRFS.
Yeah. And to understand it, just think about the system banks already use, the Common Reporting Standard, or CRS. That's where banks automatically share data on accounts across borders.
Okay, so CRF is just the crypto version of CRS.
It's as simple as that. It means dozens of countries, the EU, Canada, Japan, will all automatically exchange data. You can't just use a foreign exchange to hide your earnings anymore.
It kills jurisdictional arbitrage.
Exactly. And the UK even went a step further. CRF only requires reporting on cross-border transactions. The UK expanded it to cover domestic transactions, too.
Why do that? Why go further?
Their goal is to prevent crypto from becoming an off-CRS asset. If it was excluded, people would just move their money out of traditional banks and into crypto to escape the tax man.
They want parity, to make sure crypto is just another taxed asset.
That's the goal.
So what does this timeline mean for an individual crypto user in the UK?
You need to act now. The exchanges will send the first batch of data to HMRC in 2027, and that data will cover all of your trading in 2026.
So this year.
This whole year, tax experts are urgently warning users they have until the end of 2026 to get their affairs in order. And if you made gains in the 2024-25 financial year, your filing deadline might be January 31st, this month.
And HMRC is encouraging voluntary disclosure for old taxes, I assume, to avoid massive penalties later.
They absolutely are.
And this push is accelerating everywhere. We're seeing South Korea seizing crypto from cold wallets.
Even in the U.S., there's the proposed Bitcoin for America Act, which would let you pay federal taxes in Bitcoin, exempting those payments from CGT. So no matter how it's done, compliance is coming.
The trend is undeniable, anonymity is evaporating, and the tax authorities are catching up fast.
They are.
All right, before we wrap up, we want to thank our final sponsor. Skony, the premium golf shoe store, is also a sponsor of the show.
If you're looking for some seriously high-quality footwear that performs as well as it looks on the course, you should definitely check them out.
You can use promo code SNARFL at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase.
That's skony.com.
Well, we covered some serious ground today. We saw that fundamental ideological battle for the future of AGI happening at Meta.
Driving a wedge between its visionary founder, LeCun, and its new leadership.
Then we dissected that strategic split between the U.S. software first bet
Driven by that sort of existential risk philosophy, yeah.
and China's big strategic push toward deep industrial and infrastructural resilience. It shows the competition is much more complex than just who has the best chip.
And we wrapped up with that definitive reality check. Crypto holdings are no longer invisible to tax authorities.
CARF and these new domestic reporting rules are quickly ending the era of digital asset anonymity.
It really raises a final thought for you to consider. In this race, to build the future, whether it's AGI or a new financial system, who actually wins?
Is it the team that makes the fastest, most audacious philosophical bet?
Or is it the one that quietly builds all the necessary infrastructure to handle the real material bottlenecks? I think the answer to that is going to define the next decade.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.